Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you. This is the video about the validity and reliability. I am Bu Elo, would like to conduct the presentation around 10 minutes dealing with the 12 slides of this topic, validity and reliability. Before moving on to the slides, let's begin by reciting Umul Kitab. Okay, thank you. If you have done the teaching and learning process about assessment, I think that you have done with this also. Talking about validity and reliability. These two things happens both of the qualitative and quantitative research or study. But I'd like to focus there as our subject that is in qualitative design. So, what is meant by reliability and validity? Here we go. Validity concerns with the credibility and trustworthiness of findings, ensuring they accurately reflect the participants' experiences and the researchers' interpretations are not biased. Here are the types of validity. Coming from the internal, the authenticity and trustworthiness of the researchers, interpretations in representing the participants' relatives rather than establishing a cause and effect relationship. For the external, the degree to which findings can be applied to different settings, people, and situations beyond the immediate study context. For the content type, comprehensively captures all relevant aspects of a structure or phenomenon by involving direct communication with stakeholders, particularly participants and experts. For the construct type, ensures the data accurately reflects the abstract, unobservable concept rather than something else. For the ecological type, how accurately research findings reflect the complexity and natural circumstances of the real world, ensuring that the conclusion can be generalized to the settings and contexts where the phenomenon under study naturally occurs. For the cultural, how effectively research accounts for the specific cultural context, values, and experiences of participants, ensuring findings are credible, meaningful, and respectful from their perspective. For the catalytic, assesses a study's ability to spark social change and empower participants to understand their reality and take action. For the last type, that is consequential, focuses on the believability and rigor of the findings from the participant's perspective. Those are the types of validity, and then this is the next step of validity also. For the concurrent, ensuring multiple qualitative data sources or methods consistently yield similar findings for the same phenomenon. For the phase validity, a subjective assessment that a research instrument like an interview guide or a survey appears to measure what it is intended to measure based on the survey's level, look and feel of the questions and their relevance to the research goals. For the predictive type, through rigorous case study analysis, tracking teams and participant behavior over time to see if initial sites insight predict future experiences. The systematic type ensuring the trustworthiness and credibility of study findings through systematic methods, often incorporating techniques to reduce researcher bias and accurately represent participant experiences. While the descriptive type ensures that the researcher's account accurately and honestly reflects the factual details of the study setting, events, and behaviors without distortion or omission. For the interpretative, the extent to which the researcher accurately captures and reports the participants' meanings, perspectives, and intention rather than imposing their own views. The last one is theoretical. That accuracy and relevance of the theoretical construction used by the researcher and the extent to which they are developed during or inform the study. This is the format of the content validation criteria. For example, the validator would like to put a tick. Okay, yeah. So here there are six criteria in the content validation, and then there are five lecturers here, and then there will be average CV. Okay, yeah, content validator. Now we move on to the reliability. It is the consistency of the research process and ensuring the findings are credible and trustworthy rather than strict replicability. Only three types here for the types of reliability: quixotic, diachronic, and synchronic. The first is the perceived consistency across different researchers. And then the second one is talking about the stability of findings over time. And then the last, dealing with consistency across different contexts and settings. How about the techniques enhancing quality reliability? There are two items. By standardizing data collection procedures and clear guidelines and protocols help ensure that all researchers interpret and analyze the data similarly. The second point is collaborative coding. How multiple researchers code the same data set independently, followed by a discussion to resolve discrepancies and reach consensus on key themes. After quixotic, now we move on to diachronic. There are three techniques in hinge. The first one by using the longitudinal research design. Here, the researchers collect data over an extended period, ensuring that the findings capture changes or continuous in the continuities in the social phenomena under investigation. The second technique is multiple waves of data collection. Repeated data collection at different stages or intervals can help identify whether initial findings still hold true in different contexts or at different times. For the third technique is being consistent in analytical techniques. Here, done by maintaining the same analytical approach over time, researchers reduce the likelihood of changes in interpretation of finding. After diachronic, we have synchronic. Here is the way or techniques in enhancing the synchronic reliability. The first is by using comparative analysis, that the researchers compare findings across different groups or settings to assess whether the patterns hold consistently. The second is clear contextual definitions. The researchers define and control for the specific context or variables that might influence the findings, ensuring that comparisons are meaningful. The last one is replication of studies. Here, conducting the same study in different settings or with different groups helps determine if the findings can be generalized. Here, the figure of intercoder reliability in analyzing interview data. Yeah, specifically. ICR coming from intercoder reliability. Coming from the guiding principle here, you have to consider methodology. So if ICR may be useful, you may go down to the left side of the column. But if ICR might not be useful, you just go to the right one. Seems like narrative inquiry, phenomenology, ethnography, and grounded theory. Considering the ICR may be useful, it is divided coming from the explanatory to the transparency. Now we move on to the first box after considering methodology, that is case study, mixed method, and then considering here and approaches to analyze data. After that, considering the aims of ICA itself, and then considering the expertise of intercoder or any bias, percentage of intercoder data, and procedures of ICA. Later, percentage of agreement seems like coherence, categorical nominal data. The last one is explaining why there are discrepancies and how to resolve. Here, the procedures of selecting papers for analyzing the intercoder test. Okay, so stage 1, paper downloading. After that, Stage 2 is preliminary round of screening, and then stage 3 final round of screening, and then stage 4 is specifying papers of interest. Okay, that's all, yeah, for the last video, last material we have talking about validity and reliability. Thank you so much, and then see you in the next semester. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.